Good morning, everyone. I am Nalik Rayan. So, for today's discussions, we are down to the last subtopics of the factors being diversified in a classroom motivation. So, the other factors have been discussed by Ms. Nalazon and Ms. Laksamana. So, it is what we call the culture and motivation. So, Ms. Rosales, how do you define culture? Or mabunot na lang? Okay, sige. Oh, tanong na. Mr. Shervo, how do you define culture?
Culture it is about customary beliefs, traditions, or culture that is being shared by a same people. Sure. So, like for instance, in the classroom, in context sa classroom settings, culture, like students came from the different background, from the different beliefs, culture. So, in that particular example, culture will work.
Okay, right. So, it is something unique that everyone has. But these cultures affects motivation in a classroom. So, how does culture affects motivation in a classroom? Do you have any idea? Again, I Pipito. My question is, how this culture affects motivation in a classroom setup? Yes. How does culture affect motivation in a classroom settings or classroom setups?
I think culture affects the process of motivation in a classroom setting um, when there's the presence of diversity, and sometimes diversity causes otherness kay danay parang diri naka-relate sa kada bansa kay sa diverse perspective, culture, and practices of the students.
Yes, indeed. So ito na nga tinatawag natin na otherness, which is isa yung factors na nakakapag-affect sa motivation sa isang student in a classroom setup. So we see here the culture and motivation. This is the race and religions are other factors that diversify motivation in a classroom. Stereotypes and discriminations are present, especially with children who have different skin color and faith considered to be inferior to others. So, I remember when I was senior high school, I had this classmate who have these different religions, different faith, which is, the other one is, I guess, she is INC or the Iglesia ni Cristo, and the other one is, no, Jehovah's Witnesses, or what we call the Saksi ni Jehovah. So the scenario is this GW worshiper tried to impart his teaching to this INC, which is this INC. She tries also to debunk the idea of this Jehovah Witnesses, yes, worshiper. So because of that, this boy tried to make fun of the idea or the faith or the ideology of this INC worshiper, because he thinks that his idea or his ideologies, his faith is more superior to the faith of this INC, which is not good, diba? This is what we call the ethnocentrism, right? So, diba, when we say ethnocentrism, it is something to do with the superiority of a culture. Yes, overpowering, which is sinasabi nga, mas superior ang akong idea or ang akong culture sa imo, right? Diba? So, this affects the motivation of the students. Why? Kasi at that time, ito nga estudyante, ito nga INC, nawaraan siya gana pag-eskwela na, because ito na nga, di rin na siya na-motivate because of that certain scenario. So, other one example here are the immigrant students or the exchange students. that experience in foreign countries. So sa tanong nga kanina ni Miss Nang, na nabully ka na ba sa classroom? Wait, mag-question up. Total. Do you have any experiences nga nabully ka na sa classroom which affects your motivation as a student?
Yeah, I think when I was in senior high school,
Yes, senior.
it's kind of verbal bullying.
So how does that verbal bullying affect your motivation?
I think it lessened my motivation to go to school because every time I go to school, naiingod ko sila ito yung mga
Oo.
Actually, at first, I thought it was a joke. I received it as a joke, but when they continuously, parang hindi mo na naras kuan, like kada adlaw na. That time, na-feel ko na it's a verbal bullying because it affects me, it affects my confidence, self-confidence, my self-esteem. That's when I started not taking care of my face, taking care of myself because parang mas kinano ako himuon, still may lagyapan sila ng kita sa akin.
That hurts.
And it's because of my forehead before. They're talking something about my forehead. It's like airplane ko kuan. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And I talked to them in person.
And then,
Gikuan ko sila.
Confront.
I confront them.
Yes.
Because it affects
Yes.
my mental health, so I confront them in person. And that's where they started to become aware of what they said to me, what they are saying.
April, do you have something to say? Okay, please stand up.
I also have experience with through verbal bullying,
Okay.
also physical bullying.
Yes.
So when I was in elementary. So one of my classmates threw out parang tabu.
Tabu.
Alam mo
Oo.
yun, tabu. Sa CR.
Sa CR.
They threw, parang pinakpan nila sa iwang gulo.
Ah.
Then they laugh at me ganun. Actually, it was a time when Girl Scout at to. Because they are in envy. Because our group won on the parang participant in a specific competition. So that's it.
Pipito. Last.
Last night, I've experienced a form of
Just
bullying.
recently?
Yeah, last night. Natapo ko my friend also, a friend of my brother. And then, bigyan siya sa syudad, and then natapak niya. And, baboy ka na! Baboy ka na!
Yeah.
Pero kabeses ko na ito, last night and then weekend, sito Sunday. Ginawas ak sa balay, and nilalagak na to sa ancestral house na sa akong grandparents. And then, my relatives, of course, my relatives and my uncles and aunties saw me. Oh my God!
Girls of the
Oo, nag-act ko na nagdakot like that. And which is true naman, but which is true, obviously, napapansin ko siya personally. Kaya napapansin mo nga, kay nano ako dire. It's just that some people thought that it was okay for me.
Yeah.
It was okay for me.
Okay.
You're crying. It was okay for me to receive that kind of compliments, but deep inside, it hurts me and it kills my motivation to slay. Actually, I'm trying to be confident. I was trying to express myself now rather than when I was in high school. I was trying to explore because okay, magto-22 na ako. Why not gumawas na sa cage and then try to explore. And then there's these people trying to ruin that motivation of me, ruin that goal, and all I can do is that accept that, but of course diri na ako nagpi-please ibang tao.
Yeah.
Mas naibabaran ko na yan na i-treat ang sarili better than sa ibang mga instances.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that super inspirational, emotional, inspirational. So when we kasi ito nga lang sinasabi dito na some of the motivations nga nakaka-affect is those students nga that they are something like exchange students in the other countries, 'di ba? Mga sometimes they are prone to bullying, which is they affect their motivation. So, recently I've watched something like a documentary in YouTube platforms, and then this young boy have been something like bullied because he is a transferee in that certain school, which he lost his motivation. He doesn't want to go to school, something like that, because he is afraid of those bullies. So thank you for your cooperations of that. So okay. So there is a different findings how culture influence motivations and principles on how they can be motivated. So the book cited a research findings that prove how culture influence motivation. So please read Miss Mila, number 1.
Okay.
First is there are different motivational patterns for students belonging to ethnic communities.
Okay na. Sige. So, di ba, it says here that there is a findings that how culture influence motivations, which is there are different motivational patterns for students belonging to ethnic communities. So for an instant, like students from Asian Americans families may feel more pressure to perform well in school. So it says here that how culture influence motivations, like here in the Philippines, di ba, nga sometimes we have this called the pressure by our parents, so that we tend to motivate in school, right? Di ba, kapag sometimes nape-pressure kita natin parents, minsan we need to do this certain things para ma-fulfill an ira parang masatisfy ba sila sa ira karuyag, because in his studies it says that more on Asian American mas motivated sila mag-aral because of the pressure of their parents. Number 2, pakibasa la Mr. Gravida. And then try to explain also kung may idea.
Students' cultural background can influence their attributions.
Okay.
First of all, search ko lang,
Attributions.
Ano naman attribution?
So, okay na? Ako na lang. So, ako na mag-explain. So, one also here, the findings that prove how culture influence motivation is students' cultural background can influence their attributions. So, for an instance, students of Asian background are more likely to attribute academic achievement to unstable factors like effort, and attribute appropriate or inappropriate behaviors to temporary situational factors than students brought up in a mainstream Western culture. So here I remember also when my former classmates in senior high school, he is now in Canada. So yeah, Canadian na aniya ko. Yes, sa citizenship na citizen na siya sa Canada, which is nagkuha siya sa akin, nag-share siya sa akin na he told me that there is a huge gap between the Western countries or the Canadian and Filipinos or the Asians act in terms of the learning. So sinasabi niya na mas ang system nga di sa Philippines is more difficult kaysa sa Canada. Kasi again, nag-cite siya example sa mga ano yung tawag sa mga reportings like this. Diri sila more on ta parang engage sa reporting, or diri sila like us nga more interactive. Yes, diri. More on diri sila
Lectures.
yes, lectures la. Diri sila students learners kuan center. Diri sila interactive ko na magkuan, which is ito na nga ni medyo kinalasan
Culture shock.
na culture shock and students and your classmates, because the way he present his ideas or his report is different from them. So, di ba, ito na nga, isa hiya nga kuan nakaka-affect sa motivation, di ba? Kasi kung i-compare nato an era way sa teaching ngayon nga di sa atin, mas kuanan atin, mas parang hataas ba? So because of that, parang nakukuha na nat motivation para mag-excel pa in a classroom setup. So gets na niyo?
Yes po.
So also we have these two principles to consider regarding social and cultural influences on motivation. So please read Miss Magdaraog these two ako. Oh my God, what happened?
The first one is students are most likely to model the behaviors they believe are relevant to their situation. Second one is students develop greater efficacy for a task when they see others like themselves performing the task successfully.
So thank you for reading. So to encapsulate these two principles, this means that students need models who are similar to themselves in terms of their race, cultural backgrounds, socioeconomic status, gender, or disabilities. Having personalities learners adore to look up to helps them boost their confidence and increase their motivations because they can somehow relate to these personalities. Also, reading biographies and memoirs can also help learners connect to successful individuals who are in the same situation with them. So, di ba, ini nga duduha, sinusuga nga, the students kono are most likely to model the behaviors they believe, and then students develop greater efficacy of a task when they are others see themselves. So, mas namomotivate kita kapag nakikita natin ang natin peers or classmate nga same parang nakaka-relate kit sa kanila, di ba? Like, di ba kapag diri kit nakaka-relate sa ating classmates or feeling nato diri kit belong, diri kit namomotivate pag-aram. Whereas kapag relate kit sa kanila or we are something like pareha sa kanila, pareha sa natin paniniwala, yes, natin kuan. Do you have anything to say? Okay, so ito kapag same natin paniniwala, mas namomotivate kit which is nakakapag-excel kit sa classroom setup. So, the last one is these are the pre-service. So, 'di ba, as a pre-service teachers or as a future educators, we should be the main implementer of diversify and multiculturalism in the classrooms, doing the following. So first, we need to get to know your students, diba? Second is maintain consistent communication. Third one is acknowledge and respect every student. Practice cultural sensitivity. Incorporate diversity in the lesson plan. And lastly, give students freedom and flexibility. So that's all. Once again, I hope you learned to my discussion. Thank you.